Hello, welcome. This is the Resilient Rooster. I'm back with another Yu-Gi-Oh video, and today I'm gonna be showcasing Chain Burn. So with Nationals coming soon, I feel like Burn is gonna be a good deck for like the last chance qualifier. So if you don't have your invite, maybe you could just try to play Chain Burn and just burn your way to the top. I feel like it's I wouldn't say it's easy to play with this deck, but there's a lot of unexpected factors that you can pull off with this deck, and I feel like it's probably maybe a good shot. There's not a lot of extra thinking besides knowing how to chain and when to chain like the burn cards. But with that out of the way, let's see some replays. My first matchup is going to be against True Dracos, and whenever you want to play chain burn, you want to time all your cards perfectly. So what I mean by that is, like, if I have 5 cards set, I don't want to activate all 5 cards at the same time. I want to wait until like there's like a good opportunity just to activate my card. So it requires a little bit of thinking. My opponent, they try to get rid of my back row with their True Draco cards, and basically you have to play around it. So they hit my Reckless Greed, so I chained it. They chained back, but here I probably should not have activated this Reckless Greed. It might have cost me the game, but it just all depends on the situation. Because if my Reckless Greed was there, there's a chance that they may hit it again and I could chain it afterwards. Because they hit my Blazing Metaphors and I lost like a good card that could have burned them for high damage. The problem is, that card has to wait. So my opponent, they basically got rid of all my back row, but most of my back row they did something like just Desert would deal 1500. So I'm sort of in great shape. I still have 4 cards. I just can't draw for 2 turns because of Reckless Greed, but I got Card of Demise, which gives a lot of advantage. So I dropped 3 new cards, and I got the Chain Strike and Secret Barrel. And Secret Barrel is a good card. It might if like only 200 damage, but it's for each card I control, which can add up. And here I start activating all these chains because I have Chain Strike, and Chain Strike gets to Chain Link 7, and that does a whole bunch of damage. And that's game. My next match is against True Dracos, and they get to go first. They got the Card of Demise, so the one thing that I like about playing against True Draco is Balance of Judgment is very good. I don't think I activated in this game, but basically, if they control a lot of cards and you control like barely any, you can draw cards equal to the amount of the difference, the surplus. And I have a lot of draw power right now, so I didn't want to use a Card Demise, because when you use Card Demise, sometimes if you draw too many spells and traps, which you only have 5 max, they go to the graveyard. So you basically have to control your resource very wisely. And my opponent, they got rid of like a lot of my cards based on their back row. I try to use Ring of Destruction, but since I can't take any damage, they don't take damage. So that was kind of a good hit on their part. They were able to summon a lot of monsters, but since I was under Card of Demise, I didn't take any damage. So that was good. And I drew another a lot of draw power. So basically I was kind of forced to use some of my draw power, otherwise I can't really burn them for any damage. So there they just kept going off. They know that I was playing Chain Burn at this point, so they basically got rid of their warning. They tried to Raigeki, and I just Secret Barrel because right now I feel like that's probably the best way to, or best time to activate it. And I basically almost got like enough for a game, but I accidentally forgot to activate Dimension Wall earlier, but they probably would have destroyed it anyway. And there I activate most of my draw cards, and I basically got enough to burn. And whenever you do this chain, you always want to do the Ojama Trio last. That way all these cards will resolve later, and that's basically enough just to win the game. My next matchup is against Zombie Swarm, and I open up the Card of Demise, and most of the time when you open up the Card of Demise, you usually get enough advantage to win the game. And I kind of misplayed here. I should have kept the Ojama Trio because it can play on my opponent's turn. If they summon too many monsters, I'll be able to chain the Ojama Trio and stop them from summoning. And we'll see that here shortly. They get the Mrs. Radiant, they get the Tree Clown, and their Thousand Blade activates. I would have been able to chain Ojama Trio, and that would have happened. And then I would have dealt a lot of damage with just Desert, so I kind of misplayed hard. And right now, they activate the Grass is Greener, and they're getting just a lot more advantage. They haven't used a normal summon from the Seraphonite, so I should have just waited. But the good part is I have Balance of Judgment, so I was able just to draw cards equal to the amount they control. So I guess that's the only good thing that happened out of all that transaction. But this deck is sort of requires a little bit of thinking just to like when to use the cards. So they were able to get the Omega and Minerva, and they were able to basically, I guess, get rid of all my cards. So one of the cool things about Absolute King Blackjack is if it gets sent to the graveyard, you can basically get a trap card from your deck and set it to the field, and you can activate that turn. But they made a Abyss Dweller, so they were able to stop that effect. And here I had the card Demise, so I basically just reset all my cards. They still have the Omega, so it's kind of hard for me to play around all this stuff. I was going to use Ring of Destruction to get rid of the Minerva, but they were smart enough just to get away by banishing with Fairy Tail Snow. But right now I'm trying to wither them from withering their resource, because every time they use Fairy Tail Snow they have to banish another 7 cards, and they have to try to escape the Just Desert, otherwise they would lose the game since they have too many monsters on the field. They're down to 300 life points, but almost every time they activate a card they usually lose the game. My opponent should have banished my monster. They should have banished one of my face downs. If they banished the Wabuku, they were gonna be able to attack me for a game. This game got a lot harder because I misplayed earlier from not using my Just Desert on time. And their Fairy Tail Snow is doing a good part in getting rid of all their cards so they don't burn instantly. But I got the Blazing Meteor Force, which makes them chain again. So right now I'm trying to waste all their resource. They only have 12 cards left in the banish pile. They made the Giant Rex to try to make the Tornado Dragon and try to destroy my card, but I just chained. And right now it looks like kind of lost for me, but my opponent kind of outplayed themselves. They destroyed the Secret Blast and they basically lost the game. In this next match, my opponent gets to go first, and they didn't have the Scorpio combo, so their board's not going to be as big as before, which is good. One of the bad things about Ojama Trio now in this format is they can use it as link material, which kind of sucks to an extent, but I would say Ojama Trio is good in a way that it helps you burn or give your opponents cards for them to burn them for death with like Just Desserts, or for Balance of Judgment to be in good use. Because if your opponent controls a lot of cards and you use Balance of Judgment at the right time, you can draw a lot of cards. So I think it's kind of necessary still to play in the deck. So right now my opponent tries to get the wolf in the grave, and I try to stop it with a Ojama Trio, but they chained the Omega and they basically were able to get the wolf back. And since they're light tokens, they can use it to make the Curious, which was kind of cool. And right now, like, the only thing that I have left with me is like the Balance of Judgment. So if they ever get a big field, I could chain it and hopefully draw a lot of cards. But here, I'm not sure why they summoned the Solitaire, but they did it and they attacked. And it looked like I was gonna lose the dice roll, but I managed to get 6 on the next one and I won the game. In this next game, I didn't open up the card of the Mai, so it's gonna be sort of an uphill battle. I did open up Backjack though, and this is where I wish I ran the Link Rebo. If I ran the Link Rebo, I would be able to send Backjack to the grave and look at the top 3 cards of my deck and just rearrange it in any order. And hopefully one of those trap cards will help me, protect me from losing. My opponent tries to activate the Baby Stars in the grave, but I denied it with the Ojama Trio. And I activated all these cards because I want to activate Balance of Judgment next. That way I could draw a whole bunch of cards. So I think I end up drawing 5 cards, so that's very good. And I draw into a card of Demise, which is fantastic. As long as I don't lose this turn, which I won't because of Threatening Roar, this is a very good turn. And they made the smart play of making Lugia so they could negate, any problematic cards. I drew another Chain Strike, which is a very good card. I'm not sure why they didn't ash my Desires, but I guess it worked out in the end because I demised and they burned it then. But the good news is they don't have any more disruptions. So this is where like Chain Burn comes into effect, right? I almost burned them for a game. I do have the Dimensional Wall just in case, things get out of way. This doesn't target, so if they ever attack with the Conductor directly, I could chain Dimensional Wall and just attack or finish them for a game. So if they get rid of Dimensional Wall, then it'd be a different story. They almost go for a game at this point. They got rid of my Blackjack, and Blackjack's basically stacked it to where I got the Mirror Force, and they stopped attacking there because if they started attacking, they would lose. And at this point, I basically have the Secret Barrel, which is enough for game. All I have to do is just wait until they get to their battle phase or main phase, any phase, and I just start chaining my effects, and they basically lose at this point. Overall, I feel that This deck has a very good chance of winning last chance qualifier to get you into Nats. I feel it's one of the best rogue deck options out there, and not a lot of people will side for it. And I believe Card of Demise is going to get reprinted too, so it should be like a very budget friendly deck. And my opponent, you know, they don't have any cards in their hand, so this Mecha Ball is not going to do anything, and I was able to basically activate all my cards. And this was probably one of the quickest wins I had with this deck. I was able to burn them for a lot, and enough for game actually. I got a little bonus for you, so just sit back and enjoy. So that's it for the replays. If you enjoyed this video, please click the like button. If you want to see more Yu-Gi-Oh content, please click the subscribe button. Thank you for watching and have a great day.